sorry to bug you again. I know I've already talked about the Nike Fuelband, and if you know me, I really don't like taking the attention off me on my site. I really don't. And to do it twice in like a couple of weeks, what? But I have a feeling Nike doesn't even understand what they have on their hands. This is revolutionary. This is an iPhone. This is an iPod. This changes everything. And it just takes a tiny little deviation in the way it's being marketed, and they own the world. Best way to explain it is I was showing it to somebody the other day, and I explained to him, I said, you know, it measures your activity level throughout the day, so you can set a goal and make sure you stay within it, and simple as that. It's a very simple device. They said, well, you know what? I already know I'm active. I don't really need that. And I said, you know, I can kind of look at the sun, see it's about noon. I don't really need a watch. Sure, you can kind of know, but it is really great to have something on your wrist that tells time, so you know exactly what time it is, and tells your activity level, so you know exactly what your activity level is. I mean, I can imagine when they first were introducing wristwatches, or watches in general, all timepieces, you know, it first got marketed to the bankers and the CEOs and important people that had to make the most out of their time. And people like farmers or whatever were like, I don't need the fancy crap. I can look at the sun. I know what time it is. I don't need all that. I don't, you know, and to a degree they were right. But at some point they realized it's kind of nice to know what time it is so I can plan things throughout the day. And now everybody wears a watch. Well, that's kind of what this is. And until you've had it for a few weeks, you don't get it. And right now, Nike is marketing this to the bankers and the CEOs of the activity world, which is the athletes. You look at their commercials, as I will show you right here. You look at the commercials and it's to runners and basketball players and active people, and you can go beat your best times, and it's for all these competitive active people, and I'm sure timepieces at some point were for really busy people that had to get so much done in the day. But at some point, people realize, as I said, yeah, it's nice to have a watch. Know what time it is. For example, my wife is not a super athlete. She's pregnant right now, and she uses hers just to get an idea of where she is throughout the day. And she gets to plan her day accordingly. And that's where the secret comes in that I think Nike is missing completely. This is not for athletes. This is not for runners. This is not for basketball players. This is for everybody. It is as essential to your day as a watch is. Same thing. Simply put, throughout the day, you hit this button, you see what your fuel is. I'm about halfway to my goal, and I can go, all right, for the rest of the day, I'm going to do this, this, and this, so I don't have to be sitting there at, 11:30 at night, jumping jacks. Where's the commercial, Nike, of somebody from every age range, somebody from every activity level, just having this to keep an eye on their day? I mean, we've got this obesity epidemic, right? Obesity epidemic. Pandemic. Obesity epidemic. God, how do I forget that word? We've got this obesity epidemic and nobody being active because there's a million other things to do. And the truth is, we have become so busy that we actually have to regulate our activity. With this, it makes it really easy to plan that. In the same way an iPhone came in, it wasn't the first smartphone, all right? But it did everything better. This isn't the first bracelet or something you wear that tracks movement. The twist is the Nike Fuel Points. The metric that they use measures all activity. It doesn't just do footsteps. You know, I washed the car, got a lot of Nike Fuel Points, and I was winded. But you know how many steps I probably took? I probably took 30 steps the whole time. They got this streak thing in there. It makes you crazy. It says, hey, you're on like a 16-day streak. You're on a 17-day streak. Well, believe me, that 18th day, you're not going to break an 18-day streak at 11:30 at night. You're going to go for a walk. I mean, we walked around our house. We were doing power walking in circles around the house while all our dogs were chasing us. We're like, woo! I mean, when do you do these things? Just so we could meet the activity level that we felt was good for us. Nike, you gotta stop just marketing this to athletes. This is an everyday timepiece. That's all this is. This is a watch. I actually see a future where All watches have a fuel metric. Every single watch that you ever buy will have an accelerometer in it that can tell you how active you've been. That's how revolutionary this idea is. People will look at the time and look at their activity level as if it's the exact same thing. You know how Apple went from, doing computers and Mac and those to gadgets? Nike, you're right at a crossroads right now. This offshoot will and can and should become bigger than the rest of it. I know that sounds crazy. You guys make so much money off of shoes. I understand that. I went to go look at your $250 Hyperdunk shoes. I wanted them so bad, but I can't jump, so it just seems like it would depress me every single time. Quickly, the Hyperdunk shoe is, it does a fuel point thing, and it's in your shoe, and it can measure how high you jump and how quick you are, and then after your basketball game, you can look at your thing and go, ooh, I jumped. That would depress me. Ooh, I jumped 8 inches. Awesome. That makes me sad. So this would be a pair of shoes that made me sad every day. All right? For people that can jump, killer shoes, but not so much. I think I've made my point. Do I end it with a dog? You gotta end it with a dog. I ended it with a black dog. Although you can't see the black dog because she's so black. She's so black. Who's a good baby? She's a good baby.